front of you all. We know Black Lives Matter.
Say that again.
We're here because we understand that no human being seeking asylum or livelihood within our borders is illegal. And so, our solutions must include racial, economic, and immigrant justice.
That's right, then! You did it!
In essence, our fight is nothing if not intersectional.
Thank you!
Furthermore, we will not tolerate hate of any kind in this space. Racism, classism, ableism, homophobia, transphobia, xenophobia, and other forms of discrimination have no place here. I encourage each of you today to practice community safety. Check in with those around you. When sharing photos and videos from today on social media, please include the hashtag NYC Rally for Abortion Justice. I am absolutely thrilled to welcome our first speaker to the stage, Rana Abdelhamid.
My name is Rana Abdelhamid. I'm from Queens, New York. I'm the child of working-class Egyptian immigrants. And I love you all for being here. This is beautiful. This is what the resistance looks like. This is what it looks like. Before I start, I just want to begin by acknowledging that, and I'm sure so many of you know, I'm a survivor of both gender-based violence and hate-based violence, and I'm sure so many of you know what it is to have the power of your body being taken away from you, to not necessarily have choice over your own body. But today, I'm here, I'm angry as hell. I am so angry because Republicans and right-wing, it does not have to be this way. And let me be clear, outlawing the right to choose is not about life. Y'all know this. It has nothing to do with life. It's about keeping poor people in poverty. It's about keeping trans people, black, brown people. This law is classist, it's racist, it's transphobic, it's misogynistic, it's harmful, because we know indigenous women are dying 2 times the rate, and black women are dying 4 times the rate as white women in the U.S. while giving birth. And it does not have to be this way. Rights are under attack. What do we do? When our reproductive rights are under attack, what do we do? When I say abortion, you say justice. Abortion, justice. Abortion, justice. Abortion, justice. Thank you, thank you.
Park. I am organizer with Warriors in the Garden, and it's an honor to be here with you all today. I'm honored to announce our next speaker, Donna Lieberman, who is the Executive Director of the New York Civil Liberties Union, a position she has held since 2001.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so pleased to be here on behalf of the NYCLU, which is the ACLU of New York. Abortion justice. Yes. We're here for reproductive justice. We are here for equality. We're here to stand up against those who have put a bounty on women's freedom and unleash their vigilantes to take away our most fundamental right. We're here to stand up against this unconstitutional and deeply unpopular abortion ban, this economic and racial justice catastrophe, and to put the world on notice. Maybe millions of us across the country are in the streets. But tomorrow, we'll be on the phones, and the next day, we will be at every single polling place in every single election to make sure that our rights are heard. And it's not just about abortion. It's also so that young people
Joy, who is an alternative songwriter, satirist, and multi-instrumentalist, currently producing and scoring a documentary on amatornativity with the New York Women's Fund.
Maybe then she can put second and get the reverse till they find a woman who'll take her hands. This ain't about that. This is all about what's sticking in life, an issue of life. And yet the ladies don't perform because they're scared of spending time. See, the patient gets sick, choose the doctor for their time. This all affects the healthcare system for you and me. Paying higher doctor's bills to balance liability. And everybody's terrified and everybody's ill. He wants houses to his house, setting themselves on the till. So many more children and the rate of death is slowing. We're running out of water and the population's growing. And for everyone who's ever had to say please, and it's our legal right. Let's make
Everybody, tonight yell our body, our choice, and just yell. Yes, we are here. Today is a great day for abortion justice. Our body, our choice. And the artists and the activists and the new organizers and the new folks that are out and the folks that have been fighting for decades to protect reproductive freedom and abortion justice. My name is Heidi Sieg and I'm the co-founder and chief empowerment officer of Vote Pro-Choice. Graphic lies about medical procedures that are fake and they shame us into not telling our abortion stories. That stops right now. Over 80% of this country, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Socialists, everyone believe that we have a fundamental access to reproductive freedom. Now, all those folks may not be here today, and they may have nuanced perspectives about how they deal with the issue, but we all believe in reproductive freedom and abortion access. Remember that. No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
Thank you. And next we have Batala, who is a woman-led Afro-Brazilian samba reggae percussion band. Join me in welcoming
that I've been in Congress, we have not had a pro-choice majority until this year. Thank God. The truth, there is no democracy unless we can control our bodies. It's so outrageous. I can't believe that we are still fighting this fight. But we have to win.
And next, we have Brita, who is a New York City drag queen and activist, well known on RuPaul's Drag Race. She's the national co-chair of Drag Out the Vote.
New York City, how are we? Listen, I am so happy to be here with all of you to fight back. Listen, drag has always been political. I'm going to say it again. Drag has always been political. I walked down here today, baby, I put this on, and it is political. It was drag queens and trans women of color that started the Stonewall Uprising in 1969. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence came together to take care of our LGBTQ siblings and allies during the AIDS crisis. And as a drag queen, I feel like it is my duty to use my platform to advocate for issues that I believe in, to create change for a better world. Abortion rights are LGBTQ rights. Now let me tell you why. Okay, listen. Young lesbians, bisexual women, trans men, gender non-conforming people experience unintended pregnancies at higher rates than their non-LGBTQ peers. So access to these abortions for our community is extremely important, and that is why I say abortion rights are LGBTQ rights. Abortion rights are LGBTQ rights. Are LGBTQ rights. Abortion rights are LGBTQ rights. Now listen, as a drag activist, I'm here to these mother-tucking politicians to sashay away. Abortion rights are LGBTQ rights. Abortion rights are LGBTQ rights. Thank you so much for having me. Let's fight back.
Abortion rights are LGBTQ rights. Abortion rights are LGBTQ rights. Abortion rights are LGBTQ rights. Abortion rights are LGBTQ rights.
Thank you very much. My name is Jerry Nadler, and my pronoun is he, him. Women in the state of Texas have been without the right to safe legal abortion now for 30 days. 30 days stripped of their constitutional rights. 30 days of providers living in fear of vigilantes. 30 days being denied the freedom to make decisions about their own lives and their own bodies.
And next we have Amsi, who is a New York-based singer and songwriter known for creating pop hits with a Bollywood twist. Please join me in welcoming Amsi to the stage.
So before I begin singing, I just wanted to tell a few words about the song. The song is called Jeete Raho. And in Hindi, it means live long and prosper. Elders usually like to say this to their younger counterparts to encourage them to keep going. But as we know, this battle for reproductive rights is not something new that we're experiencing. We are reminded to keep going no matter how tough that fight may be. So, if I can impart to you a couple of words today, Jeete Raho, live long, live on, and prosper.
When I'm feeling blessed, let's say Alhamdulillah. You like this attitude? Yeah, I get it from my mom. We ain't afraid to rap. mission, and I ain't afraid to flaunt it. And just 'cause I'm a woman doesn't mean that I don't want it. So tell me, tone it down, 'cause I'm a boss on a mission. Best believe I'm not asking for no permission. Yeah, yeah. And to the people we say, Jeannie, my baby, Jeannie, my darling, Jeannie, live that long life, live that long life. Hey, immigrated to the States, but I don't forget the culture. And white, blue, orange, and green, yeah, look at all my colors. You can judge me all you want. I'm here living with a million like me, we all coexisting. And to the people we say, Jeannie, my darling, Jeannie, live that long life. Staying up all night, we hustling every day, trying to get all that paper, living that long life. Staying up all night, we hustling every day. Man, I'm starting to fade away, yeah. I'm starting to fade away, yeah. And then I hear him say, Jeannie,
folks will ask, what did you do? They will ask, what did we do? We are here today to rewrite history. My child was with me. I'm the proud mother of 2 black queer kids. I love my babies hard. And my agender 11-year-old said, Mommy, here they are. My child said, Mommy, why is this happening? And I told them that history is repeating itself. We have been here before. Our foremothers have been here before. I do not want to be back here when it's their turn. We have an obligation to the next generation to say enough is enough. We have an obligation to hold the women in Texas and to let them know we got you. We have an obligation to be there for them, because people in Texas are literally deciding, do I go as far as Illinois to get an abortion, or do I feed my children? Women in Texas are having to scramble and make plans to leave their children with people because they need abortion care, and abortion care is health care. Texas, where you're anointing you to dissent. She left a roadmap for us to follow, to protect reproductive care, to protect abortion care, to protect LGBTQ rights care.
And next we have Cathy Rojas, who is a Queen native, member of the Party for Socialism and Liberation, and the proud daughter of Colombian immigrants. She is a fierce advocate for the working class, and she's running to be mayor of New York City. Please join me in welcoming Cathy.
I want to know, eso lo decía yo, on Spanish.
people of Texas. They don't respect their rights and they don't give a damn about their well-being. But let's not lose sight of the maneuver they're trying to play right now. Right now, our people, poor and working class in Texas and in New York and around the country are in a crisis. We are in the middle of a public health crisis, an economic crisis, an educational crisis, a climate crisis, you name it, we're in crisis. But instead of dealing with the real issues, they are now attempting to distract, divide, and paralyze us by intensifying the attacks on abortion rights. I look at what's happening right now in Washington, in Texas, and can't help but notice that these people are completely ineffective at passing laws to protect the most basic necessities of our people, but they're quick to take action when it comes to bailing out the rich and the ultra-rich. And they always have time to attack women, the LGBTQ community, immigrants, black people, and vulnerable communities. The overworked, the underpaid, the immigrants, the millions in the streets for black lives, the water protectors, the millions of young people who are fed up with capitalism and say we need system change, not climate change. We are the many. We are the people. They're activists, they're lobbyists, they're intellectuals, they're media, they're spokespeople. We need to build ours. What their side has is organization. They have power because they are organized. We can have power too, but we need to be organized, not just once a year or an election day, but every single day of the year. Well, today, fighting for abortion access and health care, because abortion is a health care issue. And I mean that. We are, all of us, fighting for the future. They want to drag us into the past, but we're not going back. We know that a better world is possible. We know that we are living in a time in history where the resources and the technology and the education exist so the basic necessities of the entire planet, of every single person in this planet can be met. Jobs, housing, education, healthcare, clean energy. Those are not pipe dreams. Those are human rights that can be realized for all right now. We don't get no justice, and they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. I said if we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. Thank you very much.
We have the band Betty, who since 1986 has performed all over the world, along with their award-winning music and stage shows.
Did that. Each of us can do that. Reproductive right freedom, okay? Hi, we're Betty.
We are to be ashamed of our natural selves in every single way, and it is time for that to stop. It is time for the state and the church to get out of our lives, to get out of our way and let us live as equal people. And until women are in the Constitution with our equal rights, we will continue to say, not the church, not the state, all womb folk decide our fate.
We demand abortion! Abortion rights legal for everybody! That's people without
eyes, and we sing it with pride. If one woman hurts, if one woman cries, if one man bleeds, rise. Up, get up, dance up, get up, sing up, get up, change everything. Up, get up, dance up, get up, sing up, get up, change everything. Silence must stop, Violence must end, broken body and spirit will rise again. Strength in numbers, take a stand. Right the wrongs, don't ask, demand. If one woman hurts, if one woman cries, if one man bleeds, rise, rise. Up, get up, dance up, get up, sing up, get up, change everything. Up, get up, dance up, get up, sing up, get up, change everything. Brothers, sisters, women, girls, time is now to change the world. No story forgotten, no soul erased, no promise left empty, we're taking our place. If one woman hurts, if one woman cries, if one man bleeds, rise, rise, get up, get up, get up, get up. What time is it? 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 Rise, rise. If one woman hurts, if one woman cries, if one man bleeds, rise, rise, up, get up. The GOP, fuck them! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Woo! Next we have Dr. Noren Ross, who was recently named the New York Society for Ethical Culture's newest leader. She has been a powerful advocate for the LGBTQ community, reproductive. I want you to know today that I am all for heartbeat legislation. I am for the legislation that supports the strong heartbeats of every person who is living and breathing today to have agency over their own heartbeats, to have agency over their own bodies. Until we have until all people, cisgender, non-binary, trans folk, queer folk, poor folk, BIPOC communities, all people have agencies over their own bodies. We are here because we have remembered that we have a choice. We have a choice in how we will respond to injustice. We have a choice in how we will step up and reach out and speak out and show up for justice.
I am so honored to be here with you all today in the name of taking up space for intersectionality and solidarity. Because as a Black liberation-focused organization, we are here today because our thoughts align with all women and people of color, especially ones of low-income communities, non-binary and trans people, sex workers, and all other people who lie at the most vulnerable intersections and margins, being most disproportionately affected by the recent abortion ban in Texas. What you are seeing firsthand is nothing new. This is exactly how white supremacy works to dehumanize anyone who is not cis, white, and male. And enough is enough. 18 states have passed 46 laws to restrict or ban abortion. In 1 year, abortion access in this country is now determined by an individual's zip code. Nearly 90% of American countries are without a single abortion provider. In 6 states are down to their last abortion clinic. There is no humanity, no exceptions for rape or for incest. 3 million women in the United States have experienced rape-related pregnancies during their lifetime. The next 3 million women will be forced to carry their rapist child to term. The penalty for aborting after rape is more severe than rape now. And in the state of Texas, women's bodies and pregnant bodies are more regulated than guns. 77% of anti-abortion leaders are cis men. 100% of them will never fucking get pregnant. And are sexist, homophobic, racist, and some even rapists. 85% of patients seeking abortion in Texas can no longer get abortions, and 70% of them are women of color. Majority who have been stripped of their rights to live, their rights to exist, their rights to breathe, their rights to dream. Black infants in Texas are twice as likely as white infants to die before their first birthday. Violence. This will not end abortions. This will end safe abortions. For too many people, we claim to be a country of refuge, of safety, of freedom. What is life when you claim to be pro-life, if only deemed worthy to the white and to the wealthy? What does it mean to be pro-life if you only value certain lives? And the difference between who you value and who you don't in this case is life and death. In a system where people call the police on black children for setting up lemonade stands and brutalize Asian women for a virus we have no responsibility for. By enacting a law that relies on deputizing private citizens with a $10,000 bounty to harass people trying to get or aiding in getting equal access to abortion healthcare, its encouragement of patrolling, policing, and for surveillance for me too closely mimics the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. And I will not quietly go back to 1850. The agency of our choice is taken away from us, but our voices are not. My reproductive rights are not for you to take, and neither is the right to my body. I am pro-choice and pro-voice, and I encourage us all to get loud with our voices. There is no more time. Throughout our country's history, this is how systemic racism and white supremacy has eaten at the fabric of our humanity. That began with slavery in 1619 and persists today. To reverse this systemic racism, we demand legal and policy interventions to be made constitutionally to protect abortion rights equally and accessibly across all people intersectionally. The state of our humanity depends on you, to all the cis white men who benefit from abortion but are silent on the issue. We see you, and this is your fight too. Average amount of miles pregnant Texans will now have to travel to get an abortion out of state. And today we are here in the name of the women and the people who will not have the privilege to make it those 248 miles. Thank you.
We have Miriam Elhajli, who is a Venezuelan Moroccan American composer and vocalist and graduate of the Berklee College of Music. She works as a researcher at the Association for Cultural Equity. Let's give Miriam a warm welcome.
Hola a todas mis hermanas, hola y salam a mis habitis, okay? That means, you should learn some Arabic anyway. It's okay. So, It's really a real pleasure to be here, and I brought my guitar, but I actually thought of a better song to sing sitting on that ledge. And I want to sing a song that's about 100 years old, and I dedicate this to my grandmothers who, you know, some of them didn't know how to read or write, and they had over 6 children, and couldn't pursue their freedoms and their dreams. And as a first generation Venezuelan, Moroccan American, whatever that means, all of us mixed kids are in a lot of identity crises. It's okay. And especially as a queer person, I just want to say, you know, peace and love to all of us that are trying to figure it out, okay? And yeah, and I'm gonna sing you this song, okay? It's called Wagoner's Lad. It's a sort of an Appalachian little folk song, okay? How hard is the fortune of all womankind? She's always controlled, she's always confined, controlled by her parents until she's a bride, then a slave to her husband for the rest of her life. Oh, I am but a poor girl, my story is sad, and I've always been caught in by the wagoner's lad. He's courted me daily by madams I hate, and now he's leaving, he's going away. Oh, my parents don't like him because he is poor, and they say he's not worthy of entering my door. But he works for a living, his money's his own, and if they don't like him, they can leave him alone. So sit down here by me as long as you can. My wagon is loaded, my whip's in my hand. So fare thee well, darling, no longer I stand. Oh, how hard is the fortune of all mankind. She's always controlled, she's always confined, controlled by her parents until she's a wife, and then a slave to her husband for the rest of her life. Thank you, guys.
Miriam. All right, it is my absolute honor to introduce our last speaker of today. Carol Jenkins is the president and CEO of the ERA Coalition and Fund for Women's Equality. A coalition of nearly 200 partner organizations across the country working to prohibit sex discrimination in the U.S. Join me in giving Carol a warm welcome.
I'm going to try a chant with you too. How do you spell equality? E-R-A. How do you spell equality? E-R-A. How do you spell equality? E-R-A. That's right. And I am the last speaker because I'm here to tell in Congress. And we've got 38 states now, so the Equal Rights Amendment has met all of the constitutional requirements to be published in the Constitution. The only thing holding us up was a time limit. We say it was a suggested thing, you know, and it was written in the introduction, not in the amendment itself. And so Congress has to dissolve it so that women have equal rights.
are looking for the roots of sexism, misogyny, and racism, it lies in the Constitution. It was written by a group of slave-holding white men who not only wanted to put the enslaved, forget about the enslaved, they didn't want to put the women in the Constitution. And everything that we've been doing since the writing of that Constitution has been to repair that omission. Everything we're doing today for reproductive rights is to repair what was left out of the Constitution. If you're talking about gender-based violence, it's repairing what was left out of the Constitution. If you're talking about pay equity, you're repairing what was left out of the Constitution. Talk to me about Equal Pay Day, which drives me crazy. You know, we've been doing this over and over and over again. When in the year does a black woman make what a white man made the year before? It drives me crazy. But here's the thing that really is so incendiary, that for black women, do you know how much it has improved in the last 30 years? I was going to use an expletive there. 3 cents over 30 years. So so this is outrageous, and we really have to put the Equal Rights Amendment on our list of things that have to be done so that we don't have to keep doing the repair job over and over and over again. On the streets and say, please do this for us. We're done with all of that. Make sure your senators vote yes, and if they don't vote yes, please vote them out. Go to our website, ERA Equality.
I'm so excited everyone is here. Oh, sorry, I'm Juliet, she, hers, and I'm so honored to have helped host this Women's March alongside my dear friend Rose. I'm so honored that all of you guys showed up, and I'm also so honored to have a community full of organizations and groups and people so willing to help when the conflict is at stake.